Welcome to Octopus Art. Today we're going to go to the ocean. Let's see what we find. People have been creating octopus art for a long time. Can you see the octopus on this Greek vase? Experts believe that it was created over 3,500 years ago. This painting was created by Wyland. He's an artist from Los Angeles. Do you notice the circular tentacles underneath the arms on the octopus? These are suction cups. They help the octopus to pick things up. They're kind of like octopus fingers. Is this happening in the daytime or the nighttime? How could you tell? Wyland created this painting too. He's well known for painting the ocean. He created a foundation to help protect the ocean from pollution and overfishing. This painting was created by Mari Scullard. She's from Norway. Is this painting real or from the artist's imagination? How do you know? Do you think it would be fun to live in that house? I do. This print was created by Crystal Smith. She's an artist from Canada. This octopus is covered in spots. Do you know what it is called when something repeats over and over again? So if we repeat spot, 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 in art, it would be called repetition. This painting was created by Melanie Hava. She is an Aboriginal artist. She's using repetition too. What two things is she repeating? It's easy to see all the different kinds of spots. Is there anything else that she repeats as well? I don't know. This sculpture was made by Thomas Studios for the city of Laguna Beach. You can play on this piece of public art. Maybe if you're lucky, one day you'll get to go to Laguna Beach and play on it too. I think it would be fun to feel the tentacles. Did you know that octopi can paint? When a predator is chasing them, they can spray ink into the water. This makes them hard to see so they can get away. So this octopus just sprayed ink and is on the run. It's a great view of the underside of the octopus. You can see all of the tentacles underneath. How many legs are there? They have a few other artistic traits too. Can you see the octopus in this image? They can camouflage themselves by changing the color of their skin. This one made itself look like the ocean floor. No one can find it now. Sometimes they change colors to communicate with another octopus. What amazing colors! They are the artists of the ocean. Are you feeling inspired to create? We have seen so many amazing artworks. I think it's time for us to head to the drawing board. For today's lesson, we're going to use a variety of different kinds of art materials. For the very first step, we're going to just be using our pencil and Sharpie marker and our cool colored oil pastels. Cool colored oil pastels are pastels that are green, blue, and purple. So you can think of grass, of water, things that make you feel like you're cooled off. So you're going to have a little dish with those colors. For our second step, you're going to need your watercolor pan and a paintbrush and some salt. Your salt can be any kind of salt, regular table salt, rock salt, Epsom salts. It doesn't matter what kinds you have. So let's go ahead and get started today. We move our supplies over to the side. And I'm going to start with my pencil. Now, if you want, you can start with your Sharpie marker, but you know that if you start with your Sharpie marker, you can't erase. So I'm going to start with my pencil. And the first thing I want to do is I'm going to be drawing my octopus head. Okay, so as I go to draw my octopus head, I want to put it in one of my corners. It doesn't matter which corner I put it into. I want to put it into a corner so I'll have more room for my legs. And so I'm going to come up into a corner, and I want it to be pretty big, like almost as big as my hand. Okay, so I'm going to come up into a corner, whichever one I want, and I'm going to draw a big rainbow. And your hand should be able to fit inside of it, okay? My hand is really big, so if I made it as big as my hand, it wouldn't quite work. But your hand should fit inside of your octopus head. So first I made a big curved rainbow. Now after I make my curved rainbow, I'm going to come out to the ends and I'm going to make a curve going in the other direction. And I'm going to come to the other side and make a curve going in the other direction. So there I have my octopus head. And let's put on our eyes so that our octopus can see us draw its legs. So we're going to come and make one circle eye and then put a little rainbow inside. And we're going to come to the other side and make another circle eye and put a little rainbow inside. So now we have an octopus with eyes. Now as we go to put in our octopus legs, we need to draw 8 of them if we want to make a traditional octopus, like an octopus that lives out in the ocean. So I'm going to come over to one of these sides and I'm going to be putting in my first leg. So I'm going to take and make my wiggle and I'm going to come down towards this corner. And then I'm going to go to the bottom of it and I'm going to make my wiggle line coming back. And I want it to be a little bit fatter at the top and a little bit skinnier at the bottom. So now I have one leg. Now this leg I'm going to make going up towards that corner. So I'm going to take and I'm going to make it waved and I might curl it around a little. And then I'm going to come to the point and I'm going to bring it back. So now I have 2 octopus legs. So I'm going to come to over here now. And I'm going to put in another leg, so I'm going to make it wave going down, and then I bring it back up. And that gives me 1, 2, 3 octopus legs. And let's go back over to this side, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to draw another octopus leg. Oh, I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4 now. Okay. Now we're going to see if we can add in a couple more into this little spot. So I'm going to come to here. I'm going to add in one more leg. And I think I have room for one more leg in here. So I'm going to put in the last leg I've got room for and join it together. Now let's count and see how many legs we've got. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I still need 2 more legs. So I'm going to come up over to the side and I'm going to come over to here and I'm going to make a leg. And this one's going to go off the page. Oh my gosh. We're not going to be able to see where this one goes. So there is leg number 7. Let's count to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to come over to here. I'm going to take and draw a leg going up and make my 8th leg. Now let's count to see how we did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, if you didn't get as many legs down in here, if you need to add a leg in between legs, you can. So if I needed to add in a leg there or there, I could. So now I have my octopus. So now my next step would be to get my octopus traced in my black Sharpie marker. Now, if you started with a Sharpie marker at the beginning, you don't need to worry about this. So now I've completed step number 1. In step number 2, I'm going to bring my oil pastels over and I'm going to give my octopus some spots. So I can choose any color or colors I want, and I'm going to just take and start to draw some spots onto my octopus. I'm going to use repetition. Repetition is when you repeat something over and over again. And I might go over my eyes as well. And I can make some spots partially going off. I can also, if I want to, use more than one color. So I might make some blue spots, some green spots. It's up to me what I want to do. I might make some purple spots. I'm going to use all of my cool colors. Now, I'm going to put spots up on the head of my octopus, and I'm also going to put them on my legs. And on the legs, you can take and make half spots or make whole spots. So take and put spots all over your octopus. So after I finish putting spots on my octopus, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my watercolor paints. You are going to need a little cup of water too. I forgot to mention that. And as we go to put color into our octopus, we're going to now use warm colors. So we were using green, blue, and purple. Those are the cool colors. So the warm colors would be red, orange, and yellow. So we're going to paint our octopus with red, orange, and yellow. And when we do that, it will make our spots pop out. They will have contrast. So I want to go ahead and take some water and just drop some water into my orange, drop a little water into my red, and drop a little water into my yellow. And now I can go ahead and get some paint on my brush. And you're going to see that when you go to paint, your spots are going to stand out. So you can take and paint your octopus. If you want to use more than one color, you can. Just clean your brush really well between. And then you could get another color. You could add in more. So I'm getting a little bit of yellow now. If I wanted to use some red, I would clean my brush. I could go into my red. I'm going to paint my legs. I'm going to paint my head. You might want to make yours mostly orange or mostly red or mostly yellow. It doesn't matter. Or you might do a combo of colors. Now, once you get to this point, you have to let your octopus dry completely. So before you do step 3, you have to let it completely dry. So I'm going to let mine dry right now. So now my octopus is completely dry. So nothing comes off. So now I can go ahead and move into my 3rd step, which will be painting my background. But before I do that, if I want to add oil pastel in any place, I can. So I kind of want to go back in and add some white into my eyes so that they stand out a little bit more. And I'm actually going to take my black and put back in that little rainbow in there. So now my eyes are a little bit more pronounced, and if I wanted to, if I felt like some of my circles were a little too soft now, I could go back in and add in more color, or I can just leave it if I'm happy with it. So really it's up to you, but if you want to go in and do any adjustments, bring anything back to being a little bit brighter, you can. Now once you finish that, you're ready to go ahead and work on your background. So on our background, we're going to do a technique called wet on wet, and we're also going to be using our cool colors this time. So our cool colors are green, blue, and purple, just like they were for our spots. So I'm going to be using these three. So I've gone and I've gotten a clean glass of water, and I'm going to take and put 1 drop of water into my green, 1 into my blue, and 1 into my purple, so they can start to be activated. Now this is called a wet on wet technique. So I'm going to get my brush wet, and first I'm going to take and put water only on the white part of my paper. So I'm going to get it wet. So I dipped my brush, and first I paint my paper with water. Now I can go into one of my colors, and you'll see how the paint will just go in and spread out. Now if I want to go in and use one of my other colors, I would clean my brush. Maybe I want a little bit of green. I would clean my brush, maybe get a little bit of purple. And then I could go ahead and blend those colors in. Now, once I do this first section, I'm then going to take some of my salt and I'm going to sprinkle it onto my wet paint. And see how it instantly starts to make that interesting effect happen. Now I'm going to let that section dry, and I'm going to move into my next one. So first I have to get my section wet. Now it's important at this point to let my octopus completely dry, to not just pick it up. If I pick it up and tilt it over, the paint will run. So I want to leave it flat. I want it to let it dry completely. And then after it dries, I can take my hand and brush over the top of it. And then I can brush the salt off and put it into the trash can. Thanks for joining me today. Bye-bye.